What is up, guys? In this video we're going to be going over a few of the most important concepts when using CSS to style your HTML. Right now I have a small tab open with what specificity is and what the pointage system is, or the ranking system. And as you can see, each time you style something it has a certain score. So let's get started with what gives us the strongest points, and that is the inline style. So an inline style is essentially when you type in an element and you decide to actually just type in the style inside the element. So this will always dominate over anything that is in our CSS file. So whatever we type in here, such as let's change the color of this H1 to blue, will dominate. And let's just say hello, for example. So as you can see right there, it says hello. But if we go to our styles and we call the H1, and say color forest green, you'll notice that this will remain blue. That is because the inline style, which is this style right here, has a pointage of 1000, and the element that we have described in here has a pointage of 1. And that's how it determines which one actually gets chosen over the list of attributes that we have given to it. Now we can even give this H1 an ID. So let's get rid of this inline style and say ID title H. So now it has an ID of title H. And if we go here and type in hash title H and give it the color of gold, let's go for the color of gray actually, you'll notice that it will turn into a gray color. And again, that is because the ID selector has a much higher ranking than the element, which is just this one by itself. And the same thing goes for classes. So as you can see, as you become more specific, the higher your CSS will rank. So it's a very easy rule to follow. You don't need to remember this in general. You just need to know that if you make an inline style, you'll get 1000 points. If you make an ID, you'll get 100. If it's a class, you'll get 10. So yeah, that's actually all you need to know about specificity for now. That some selectors have higher rankings than others, and that's how you determine which one will show. Now let's go to the second part of this video, which is about all the simple selectors in CSS. So the ones you might be already familiar with is the element selector, such as this one over here. In case you have a paragraph or any element that you see on your HTML, we call these element selectors. And they're quite weak, but you can use them to generally set a certain font or color or whatever you want. It's a very general way to contact the CSS. So we can also just type in color green. So now all the text we write is going to turn into green. So for example, here we're going to type in hello world, and you'll notice that our paragraph text is green. The second one to note is the hashtag, which is the ID selector. So every time you define an ID in your HTML, you're going to have something that says ID. And then with this ID, you can go to your CSS and select it just by adding or prefixing the hashtag to the name you gave it. So here we can also change, for example, the font size to 100 pixels. And you'll notice that hello got really, really big. Next, we should create a class selector, which is prefixed by a dot and then the class name. So we're just going to say body text, and inside here let's give everything a padding of 20 pixels, and we're going to give this a background color of honeydew, whatever that is. Right now nothing will happen because we have not used this yet. I'm just going to copy this because I very often forget my classes, and here we're going to create a div with the class name of what we just created. Then just make sure to surround the div around the text that we have created, and you'll notice that we'll have a small padding and a honeydew background, which might be better if we change that to a very dark gray, such as that. So that is how you select classes. And again, classes are used for more general groups as opposed to IDs, which are supposed to be something more specific. And another thing I wanted to show you is the universal selector, which is an asterisk followed by whatever attributes you want to include. So we can actually turn the background of everything blue or something else until we specify it later to be something different. So let's go for a background color and let's change that to Indian red. You'll notice that everything has turned to Indian red for the background until you specify something different. Let's go to title H and give it a background color of lawn green. As you can see, we're making a very ugly web page, but as you've noticed, anything you override or anything you become more specific with will completely override the asterisk. So in case you have a global rule that you want to follow, some margins or something, this is a very good place to put it because it will apply it to all the elements. But it also has a very weak specificity score, which means anything can override it very easily. All right, now let's go back and let's add some more text here. Let's say P, and this time we're going to give this one a class. And this class is going to be special text. And inside here, we're going to type this is some special text. And as you can see, when we save, we get another bit of text down here, but we're going to do something a bit different this time. Let's pretend we just want to modify this and not this in the same class. To do this, all we have to do is go ahead and type in the element we want to select, and we need to follow it by the class name, which is special text. Then we can type in whatever logic we want inside here, such as the background color. Let's pretend we want to change this to a nice white and click on save. You'll notice because we've added this class, it will only select the P with this class. And to make this more efficient, you can add lots of these, and you can add the class wherever you want, so you can reuse it as many times as you want. So this is a very good way to select certain elements with certain classes. And the final simple selector I need to show you is how to select several elements that have the same attributes, so you can actually save some space and make it more readable. For example, if you want to give the body text and the title H and the p.special text, if you want to edit all of these with the same attributes, all you have to do is provide a comma between them and provide the attributes inside here. So let's change the background color to something a bit more nice, such as white. And you'll notice that the background for everything has turned white. And we can also change the font color to black, so it makes it more readable. And everything will change to black. Besides, of course, this hello world, because here we wrote that it's just a P and we did not select it at all. But anyways, that's actually all I wanted to show you in this video. It should have given you a very good understanding on how to select CSS elements and how the specificity system works. You should be able to style your HTML a bit better, and in the next few videos we'll go over a little bit more about CSS, and then finally we will jump into JavaScript and actually making some websites. But with that being said, as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See you.